Ooh boy, I'm back. So recently I finished Peacemaker Season 2. Now, I didn't follow it week by week as the episodes came out. Instead, I decided to binge it all at once when the full season was released. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some glaring issues I found with it that not a lot of people are talking about. By all means, the story wasn't bad, but the plot really slowed it down. And before I go any further, massive spoiler warning. There will be spoilers throughout this video, so if you haven't seen the season yet, consider this your official heads up. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's begin. The show picks up after season 1, where the 11th Street kids expose Amanda Waller and her crooked practices. Because of this, the team falls into separation and despair. Harcourt's out drinking and getting into fights, Vigilante's back at his part-time job, Adebayo's trying to rebuild her relationship, Conmos is conflicted about still working with Argus, and Peacemaker himself is in a rut. Honestly, I really like this setup. It's refreshing and contrasts nicely with the first season. In season 1, everyone had jobs and something to focus on, but they lacked real kinship. This season flips that. Now, they don't have jobs, but they do have each other. And that contrast works really well. Now, the meat and potatoes of this season, Peacemaker finds another dimension and decides to go through it. There, he discovers a version of his life that doesn't suck. His relationship with his father is great, his brother is still alive, and he's on better terms with Harcourt. Sounds solid, right? It is. But here's my main issue: the pacing. Peacemaker doesn't even go to the other dimension until the 5th episode. And not just that, but at the end of it. That's weird because the season only has 8 episodes total. So by episode 5, we're just getting to the main storyline. That means we spend 4 to 5 episodes on build-up and only 2 or 3 on the real story. It's like if in Spider-Man No Way Home, the villains slowly decided to be evil, and in the last 10 to 15 minutes, they finally turn, and Aunt May is unalived, and the other Spider-Men swoop in to save the day. Speaking of rushed finales, that's another big issue fans pointed out, and rightfully so. Those 5 episodes of build-up could have easily been used to establish the new Checkmate headquarters and give each character proper closure instead of rushing through everything. Now, I did like how they handled the boat scene. It had a soft, natural build-up, it worked. But by the end, it got jumbled with too many other things happening at once. Another scene I really liked? Adebayo's speech to Peacemaker. It was heartfelt and helped pull him out of his rut, which it should have. But one thing I couldn't stop thinking about was his moment with his dad. The idea of his dad not being a Yahtzee in this dimension? Brilliant. I honestly thought he would be the one to pull Peacemaker out of his slump instead of Adebayo. That would have made more sense in my opinion. Even his dad's speech about honoring Peacemaker's mistake and wishing he could change his world's prejudice was powerful. He showed humility, understanding, and integrity. It would have been amazing to see Peacemaker process the passing of his father through the compassion of this doppelganger version. But that potential got thrown away because they rushed the ending and unalived him. And honestly, quite lazily if I'm being real, what if he had been unalived trying to defend Peacemaker from the cops, instead of Vigilante accidentally unaliving him? That would have hit way harder. But who knows, maybe James Gunn has a bigger plan, especially since Keith was left alive. When they return to their own dimension, Peacemaker's jailed, makes bail, and finally pulls himself together. Then, with help from a few others, they decide to build their own agency, Checkmate. That was a fantastic Easter egg. In the comics, Checkmate was founded to be a more ethical intelligence agency, one that serves the people, not the government. That's a strong foundation for the DCU going forward, especially since part of their motivation came from Lex Luthor's influence over Argus. It also opens up tons of storytelling potential for James Gunn's greater DC universe. Near the end, Peacemaker gets kidnapped by Argus, and Rick Flag Sr. decides to throw him into a dimension meant to segregate metahumans from humans. Now that's a dark twist. Rick Flag Sr. definitely changed a lot here. If you remember him from Creature Commandos, he wasn't nearly as cynical or vengeful. Honestly, they feel like two different people. But I love that this season developed him so much. Now we know he's going to play a major role in this DC universe. Overall, Peacemaker Season 2 had a lot of great moments, but the pacing threw everything off and created some major inconsistencies. Still, it's a solid show, and I'm genuinely excited for what comes next in the DCU. With heavy hitters like Superman and Creature Commandos kicking things off, the future looks bright. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what you thought of the season in the comments below. Oh, and one last thing. This show is definitely meant for young adults and up. It gets graphic at times. So, if you're under the age range, maybe skip it for now.